Good morning, everybody. Beautiful, chilly spring morning here in Nova Scotia, Canada. I wasn't actually I started to try to do this video yesterday and was unsure of how to proceed, really. I did make a video, but I'm not sure I'm glad I didn't put it out because I found out even more things since yesterday morning about this subject that just absolutely sickens me. So, what I'm speaking of is a scandal. Is the only other way to describe it. This guitar player from Italy named Giacomo Turro. So, possibly my folks on here might not have any reason to know who this guy is. But I watched a video yesterday by Rick Beato, who you know, I love Rick. Beato's the man. He's a smart man. He's old school like me. He's seen it all and done it all. And I watched his video about this subject, and it really turned my stomach. So the story, I'll try to make the story short, even though it's going to be difficult because a lot went on here. And I mean a lot. So this kid over in Italy, Giacomo Turro, he gained millions of followers and subscribers on YouTube and Instagram by putting out these short form reels and full on videos of his guitar playing. And if you look at them, the guy is a jazz fusion shredder. Like, he's just unbelievable technicality and playing with really hot players. Sometimes, in boats or in rooms, or like they were, stylized, highly produced videos. And over the last, not even a week, his videos have caused a scandal. And it's the only way to describe it, because what he did is, well, it shocked me, and it makes me feel a bit like an idiot, because I didn't think people would have the balls to do something like this, but this is what he did. All these solos and improvisations that he claims are his, he stole from other guitar players on YouTube. Genius players who don't have a lot of followers. They have 200 or 300 or 400 followers. And Turro's got millions, right? So, anyhow, he steals all these guys' improvisations and releases them online as if they're his own. He doesn't credit the people who actually made them. And in recent days, whistleblowers on YouTube have actually taken the original video of the guy who invented the shit and overlaid it against Turro's, and it's identical. You can't. The guy didn't change the key, the tempo, anything. He just ripped off these guys' brilliant improv solos and compositions and just put it out as if he had done it. Didn't credit them. Apparently, after a while, he started to put some of the guys he actually did credit, but he buried it in the comments of the video, so you couldn't even find it, right? So that right there is the most horrendous thing you can do to an artist, is to just take something and then never speak of them and put it out as if you made it all yourself. It's just unforgivable, right? That's not bad enough. Plus, he's making money off of this now, too, right? Because he's got so many followers. Like, he's making a lot of money from doing these little videos. Then the next thing he does, he transcribes all these solos and creations and starts to sell the tablature without crediting the composers or anything, as if they're his. He starts selling these tabs online. Holy shit. Okay, that's good enough. Great. Got that part. Then he gets endorsed by all kinds of huge companies, including like Fender and guitar builders, like hard-working single-bench guys, start sending him instruments, custom-made instruments, with the understanding, of course, that these guitars are going to appear in his videos, or he's going to do a review of them or whatever the case is. So anyhow, he plays these guitars once, and then the builders start seeing these guitars appearing in other people's videos. And they're like, wait, how the hell, where did he get that guitar? Well, this fucking asshole sold them. He sold the guitars without ever really fulfilling any kind of marketing thing that he had agreed with. He played it for 90 seconds on a reel and sold it and kept the money, and then ghosted these builders. The builders couldn't reach him anymore. It's getting bad, isn't it? So that's the next little step, right? So this guy is getting so famous that he ends up coming to America to play. And he ends up at a trade show playing this stuff with a hot band. And people, some guitar players are noticing that this guy fucking sucks. They're like, wait, well, what? And he's just playing bullshit, right? Nothing like his videos, right? So guitar players online, they start looking at this guy. And here's the worst one. This is where things get really, really bad. It turns out some very talented engineers and guitar players started to take apart his video with stem software that can isolate tracks off a recording. They isolated his guitar and they looked at the waveform, and they discovered that he's not fucking playing any of this stuff. He's not playing it. What he's doing is he builds the band, right? He puts bass, drums, rhythm on the track. He then uses a software to slow the track down by 50%. And then he plays it slow, super slow, half speed. Plays it. And then when he's done, and it's perfect, he speeds the song up to 100% again. So, and then he gets on in front of a camera, right? And just mimes what's coming out of the speaker. He's not actually playing anything he's doing. Okay. And the last thing that happened this morning, I've watched a couple of videos put out by musicians who worked with him. And I'm telling you, this guy is a master con artist, because these guys said things like, well, I've played with him for 6 years. I put out numerous singles with him. I've been in his videos, but I had no idea this was going on. No idea. For 6 years, right? One guy said, yeah, when we'd make these videos, it would all be pre-recorded. We knew we were going to mime because it's just faster, which is true. Miming in a music video, right, has been done forever. That's what music videos are. They're performance pieces. They're not playing pieces. Every music video you ever see is the artist miming to the studio recording. It even happens on television, right? So he didn't think anything of this because, unfortunately, this is a legitimate tool that's being used especially on YouTube, right? And Instagram, apparently, which I don't use much. And now I see why I don't use it. So he said, yeah, we'd just walk in, he'd press play, and we'd mime our parts. And we didn't have time to watch him or see what he was doing. His guitar was never turned on, but his hands were moving and it looked good, like he was playing it. So we were just concentrating on on reproducing what we had done, so we would look like we were playing what's on the record, which is what a real musician would be doing, right? You'd be trying like hell to not divulge to the listener or the watcher that you're miming, even though most people understand that it's all being mimed, right? Anyhow, these guys were oblivious to what he was doing. And this went on for 6 years. 6 fucking years, this guy accumulated millions of followers, millions of subscribers, based upon a lie, a total lie. This guy can't play and he can't write. He's a videographer, right? And according to everybody who's talked about him and knows him and everything else, he is not a real nice guy to deal with. He's not accepting responsibility, apparently, for all this harm he's done to the composers he's ripped off. He's not apologizing. He put out some sort of a stupid blanket apology, apparently on YouTube, which isn't his main platform, even though he has millions of followers. But he didn't take responsibility for what he was doing. So here's the problem, and it's a serious one. I'm just some nobody, a fat arsehole from Nova Scotia who plays guitar and mandolin and fiddle and banjo, whatever. And I've been on here for 6 years talking to people about guitars and trying to, get people interested and keep people, engaged, right? Especially during the pandemic. It was important, right? It was really important that we all stay together. And thank God, over all these years, I went from under 4,000 subscribers to 40,000, right? And 300,000 people watching us all over the world, 39 countries. And I honestly believe that is because I'm no bullshit. I just don't have any tolerance for it in my life. So if I'm going to speak to you and play music for you and talk about guitars and review equipment and blah, 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 the way I am in real life is you're looking at it right now. And that's what bleeds into everything I do on this channel. Excuse me. T-burps. Anyhow, this is a horrible thing because it does a number of things. First of all, it makes me feel like an idiot, right? I'm one of those guys, and it's a terrible, terrible thing to do, right? Don't ever do this. I'm one of those guys that believes if I wouldn't do it, nobody else would either. Boy, that's a dangerous motto, because people will do anything if it means making money and achieving fame. And there are just some people that don't even care what the ramifications are to doing the kind of things that this Turro dude has done, right? He doesn't care. He's made his money. I don't know how much he's made, but it must be a lot. Based upon play acting as a guitar player. He can't play. Rick Beato said he had him in the studio, and when he heard him play, he called him out. He said, well, I don't know what you're doing here because you're not good. You don't play well enough to be on my channel. So the problem with all of this is you might look at this situation and go, okay, big deal. So he's faked a bunch of videos and blah, blah, blah. Well, some of us are out here actually doing it, right? If you watch my performance videos on this channel, they're all 100% real, right in front of the camera. The microphone is there. I'm playing at the moment. It's being filmed. even if there's backing tracks that I've recorded earlier, the lead instrument, no matter what it is being played in front of the camera. And my private members know this for sure, because I've put out reels of bloopers of me trying to do some of this stuff. And it's funny. It's funny as hell. A lot of cursing and swearing. And so it casts a shadow on every player that's on here. If this guy can get away with this for 6 years and fool millions and millions of people into believing that he is this world-class jazz fusion shredder when he's really just an idiot, if that can happen, it casts a shadow over everybody who's on here playing, because people will look at a lot of things now and go, if you're really good at what you do, you know, and you're pretty fairly impressive sometimes, they're going to look at that and go, wait a minute, that is that fake, or is that real? I don't know, right? That sucks. That sucks. Because, you know, I've worked 50 years to be the musician that I am. And I'm still learning. And I will never stop learning. And I will never stop trying to be a better player, a better writer, a better singer, a better everything. It's ingrained in me because I started when I was 5 years old. I'm 51 years into this, right? Of practicing, honing my craft, trying, and then as I cross into the last quarter of my life, now it's about keeping the chops up and keeping the hands limber, and because they're starting to go, right? I've beat them to death for 50 years, so I got arthritis, and I've got normal age issues that people get as they get older as players, right? Why? So, yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. This whole thing sucks. The other part of this is I have like 40 partners on this channel. I have builders from all over the world. I have companies that do guitars, amps, equipment, picks, music stores, shops, specialty shops that work with me on this channel. They have all put in a lot of work with me. They've built me instruments, signature models. I have a Yeri, I have a Gallagher, I have a Crackett, I have a Boucher. I mean, it's, I don't know, right? It's the list of people that work with me is astounding, and they're wonderful people, and they've helped me, and I've helped them. Well, this guy is so big, right, and had such an impact on the landscape online, and he turns out he's a complete fraud. What does that do the next time, you know, a company like, let's say, Cirrus, who are great folks, MJ Franks, I love his guitars. He's building me another one right now. I mean, what does it look like to them if they, because this is exploding online. Everybody's hearing about this. So what does it look like to a company like that when they're considering a new guy, or even me, right? Should we send this guy a guitar? Well, I don't know, man. Remember that Turro guy? Like, he took all kinds of stuff and just sold it and ripped off the builders, and he wasn't even a guitar player, and blah, blah, blah. And maybe we should think about another way to promote our brand, because that we don't want that to happen to us. And who the hell is JP Cormier, right? That's how this works. The balance of interaction in the YouTube world is incredibly fragile, right? You've got companies that still are on the fence whether they think that YouTube is a good way to go to sell instruments, to promote instruments. I've proven to all my partners that it is a very good way if the guitars are in the right hands, right? I mean, Jesus, look at the Chapmans, the acoustic music, the acoustic shop in Missouri. Those guys are monsters. They're all monster players. They have a wicked store. I mean, people look at that and go, okay, well, Jesus, are they really playing that stuff? And that sucks. That sucks that established guys may now fall under scrutiny because this thing is so serious. This isn't just a blip. Everybody, all the creators of guitar stuff right now are talking about this online. And I had to jump on the bandwagon because I'm probably the most grassroots guy of all of them. I'm just some dude out in the woods in Nova Scotia. But I've been extremely successful, and only because of, like I said earlier, I'm honest. I don't care what people think. And I just don't care. I'm going to tell you how it is. And that's my selling point. But for somebody who doesn't know me, he was considering a campaign of YouTube advertisement. Now they're going to think twice. You know, they really are. You think that this won't reach those people, but it will. So here's my final thought on all of this. Back in the 90s, Auto-Tune destroyed the recording industry. Fight me if you don't like that idea, but it's true. Because what Auto-Tune does is it allows people who can't actually sing to make hit records. Well, this is the next step in that process of having technology completely pull the wool over ordinary people's eyes, right? He used computer technology and software to make average listeners believe he was a guitar god when he is nothing. He's just a mediocre, half-assed blues player, right? We have to start setting a standard again in the music industry, especially where it means something, where it's a commodity, right? To actually be able to get up on a stage in front of a microphone, in front of 1,000 people, and perform what you did in front of a camera in the studio, or what you did in front of a microphone in the studio if you're a singer. And we have to get back to real, actual music that takes skill and practice and dedication to an art form, right? That's what we must do. Because as long as we're complacent and saying, oh yeah, well yeah, we use Auto-Tune a little bit, you can use it a little bit. See how slippery the slope is? You know, you got people in Nashville whose vocals are completely mangled by Auto-Tune. There's not one word coming out of their mouth. It's not being manipulated by the computer system, the operating system, right? That's turned into a guy can build a multi-million follower online persona through the use of software. And not only is he doing it with audio, he's done it with video included. He's made it look like he's doing something he can't do. We have to stop it. We have to put a standard on musicians. And as bad as that sounds, it used to be the case. It used to be you couldn't get near a recording studio without talking to the A&R guys at a label. The reason they did that was so that to make sure that people were actually talented to get in front of that microphone, right? And then now we have today where you can record anywhere. And if you're not quite ready to record, you can use software to make it sound like you are. Not a good look for us, boys. It just isn't. So, anyhow, there's my take. This guy is taking down his YouTube channel and taking down a lot of the stuff he's done, I guess, according to what I'm hearing. And that's exactly what he should do. And then the next thing he should do is get online again and apologize for everything he's done that sucks, that's deceived people and cost them money and all this other stuff. He should get online and take full responsibility for it, and then he should fuck off and go in the woods and practice until he can actually do what it looked like he was doing for the last 6 years, because he could if he wanted to. He's just being lazy right now. But that's what he needs to do. Apologize and hit the woodshed the same way the rest of us did who actually play what you see us playing. That's how you learn. Anyhow, that's my thoughts. Beautiful morning.